Welcome to Cybernet Security. In today's video, we'll be talking about DNS. I'll be breaking down DNS workflow for a beginner. So what do I mean by DNS? DNS simply means domain name system. So DNS is like a phone book of the internet. It translates website names into IP addresses so your computers can actually understand them. So like for example, when it comes to a naming system, for example, human beings, we use names to identify ourselves. For example, Cybernet, uh, um, Trump, whatever name you can think of. You can easily call somebody by his name, and the person identifies, knows that you are actually calling him. So how does computer understands that you want to talk to them? So how computer does that is by using IP addressing, which are numbers. So the major issue here is that human beings, we, due to the fact that these IP addresses are the combination of different numbers, which is very difficult for a human to really remember. For example, you want to visit in a day, you can visit like 10 websites, 10 web pages, and you need to know all the 10 IP addresses. And those web pages, those websites can be having multiple servers behind their server rooms, and these multiple servers might have different IP addresses, which for you to even visit one page, you can actually have like 2 3 IP addresses of that page before you can even visit. You need to know the IP address of 3 different servers before you could even see a page. So but what solves this problem for us? DNS engineers has came and said that this is very tedious. We want to make this easier for humans to be able to interact and remember, visit websites without having to memorize these numbers. So what did they do? They came out with this technology, DNS, domain name systems. So what happens in the behind the scene is these domain name systems, you don't need to know these IP addresses. All you just need to know is to know the domain name of the server. Once you know the domain name of the server, you could be able to query that domain name, and this other server, the DNS server, does resolution for you and gets back the IP addresses of that domain name, and your system could connect directly to the server it wants to get to straight using the IP addresses. So you don't need to bother yourself about the IP address of that machine. So yeah, this is the flow, the DNS resolution process. This is what always happen whenever you want to visit a website in the internet. For example, you want to visit Facebook, you want to visit LinkedIn, you want to visit TikTok, you want to visit any site in the internet. This is what always happen when you are querying any site in the internet. So at first, when you query, for example, when you query www.example.com, what happens there from that moment that you have sent that query in your web browser is it first check your system, the local DNS cache. Every system has a local DNS cache. Host file, yeah. This host file stores top level domains. I mean, when I say top level domains, I mean the .com, .org, .ng, .uk, .io, .app. So these are top level domains. So these top level domains, this top level domain server actually manages this domain. So when it gets the request from the root server and sees that maybe the site you want to visit has a .com as the top level domain, so it forwards this request to an authoritative name server. This authoritative name server is the DNS final decision server. Server has all the IP addresses of the domains that it manages. So once that request is sent to it, it checks its database and retrieves the IP addresses that is tied to that domain name. So once it retrieves the IP address that is tied to that domain name, it sends it back to your computer. Your computer now makes a direct connection. Your computer now makes a direct connection to the website you wanted to visit earlier. Or if you have a local DNS server in your environment, it sends that request to the local DNS server. The local DNS server makes the request for you. So that is actually what happens anytime you want to visit a website on your system or on your phone. So this process actually happens in milliseconds. It's kind of very fast. It happens very, very fast. So these are processes that occur whenever you want to visit a website using your computer or your phones, your mobile devices. So that is how DNS works. So, and I hope this video helped you a lot understand the basics about DNS. I will do a future video that talks more about the DNS records. I'll do a video on that. And we have different DNS record: the A record, the quad A records, the NS records, and MX records. So there are a lot of records that helps DNS make some decisions and equally helps apply security to your DNS requests or DNS queries. So feel free to, don't forget to like and subscribe on my YouTube channel. Cybernet just started an academy on but currently we only manage cybersecurity. We only help people understand cybersecurity. So I will be dropping a link to a form if you're interested to register for this course. I will dropping a link to a form where you can send your details and send it to me, and I will reply to you with the necessary requirements needed to make the registration work. So thank you so much, and I believe this video is very insightful for you. Thank you for your time, and do have a lovely day.